What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download their app. Be sure to use promo code CHGO when you sign up. 2 more NBA playoff games tonight. 2 more chances to get some same-game parlays in there. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. Join with my guys in studio, Big Dave, BAM! BAWL Sports. Will, the GOAT Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb. With the most half-assed Kyle Korver costume I've ever seen in my life. I've ever seen in my life. Oh, I don't want to get the shorts to complete the outfit.
I'm wearing the jersey. That's what you're going to get, Matthew.
Oh, man. As a lifelong Chicago sports fan, I've been let down a lot in my life, Will. I don't know if I've ever felt more let down than I do right now.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
Oh, man. Will the GOAT Gottlieb, ladies and gents.
Let it all out.
So disheartening.
Get it out, man.
This is your chance.
That's right. We got a whole hour of it.
I'm getting
Get it on out. Get it on out.
I will say this. Shout out to Jelly, who sent this over.
He's disappointed
from eBay.
Too. He's upset.
I'm sorry if you're disappointed, but I am wearing it. It's belated, but it's happening now.
It's in your face.
Oh, my gosh.
It's in your face.
So disappointed.
It's a little big.
A little big?
But
you are a fit young man, so yeah, it should be a little tighter, but did the best we could with what we had.
Also, I'm pretty sure Kyle Korver's like a foot and a half taller than you.
That's
so
true.
There aren't a lot of Bulls Kyle Korver jerseys floating around.
No. Our guy Jelly had to track that one down.
Yeah. Like, you can find the Hawks.
I looked several times.
You got to go on.
Every other team.
We should have ran a custom DH gate order. Hope NBA's not listening.
I mean, to be
order
fair,
one in from China.
Never played him, so.
Zing.
Can't play defense well. You don't get fourth quarter minutes if you can't play defense, although that might not matter for the Knicks, who are facing elimination tonight.
Well done.
Our pal producer, Joey Spathis, is here with us in studio, by the way.
Joey.
Also follow him. He is at Joey Spathis. Speaking of these NBA playoffs, gentlemen, we had 2 Game 5s last night. Yeah. Each series was tied 2-2 coming into it. Let's talk about these before we get to our Coby White grades for the 22-23 season. Okay. Starting with Sixers-Celtics. Sixers won 115-103. Embiid, 33 points. Not the most dominant night. That's basically like what he averaged this season.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it super efficiently. 10 of 23 from the field. He was 10 of 11 at the line. Got a lot of help from Maxey, who chipped in 30 points.
Shabba.
Drilled 6 of his 12 three-point attempts. And Harden flirted with a triple-double. I want to start here, though. We talked a little bit about Jason Tatum and the Celtics coughing up that Game 4 and the fact that he passed off a ball at the end of regulation when the Celtics had a chance to win.
Word.
And he passed off the ball at the end of OT when the Celtics had a chance to win.
Word.
Tatum, to his credit, did score 36 points last night. Only 5 of those 36 came in the fourth quarter when this game was still very much within reach. Do you guys feel like Tatum is losing some of that superstar power after leading his Celtics all the way to 2 games shy of winning an NBA championship last season based on how he's played through 5 games in this series?
Ooh.
Or do you think that's an overstatement?
It's not an overstatement, but it's kind of in the middle. You know? Like, it's kind of in the middle. You're going off of what you're seeing, obviously. You're a victim of the moment in the playoffs. That's just what it is. And because the next moment is your moment. You know, it's the moment you can either go ahead or go home. So you got to go big or go home. That's really how it is. And Tatum has been going kind of tiny in this one against the Sixers. So I understand. So I understand why people would feel that way. I still think he's a superstar for sure. But the team, I don't care how they're built, who's on it, Jaylen Brown, however you want to say it, it begins and ends with Tatum. That's who has to be the guy. He has to show up. Now, to his credit, he put up the numbers. You know, the numbers were there, but the field goal numbers were not there. Like you said, the time we get in the fourth quarter and in the first quarter too, because he was off to a terrible start to start the game. I believe at one point he was 1 for 8. Yeah. So he was really struggling bad. And that's when Philly kind of just took off. You know, they put the clamps on him and didn't stop. Shout out again to Maxey. And you've mentioned Embiid. I thought Embiid, even though he didn't have good numbers, I thought he played a good dominating center performance. He still was like, I'm the best player out here on the floor. He put out that kind of performance. And what also leads me to believe it is the fact Al Horford had 0 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't score. So, yeah, but again, nobody's talking about Al Horford because it's about Jason Tatum. He has to perform, Will. You can't show people that level of greatness that we've seen from him and then not show it at these kind of times, especially at home in the Boston Garden in the game you got to have.
Yeah, a game you definitely need to have. And look, like, I think last year everybody was kind of ready to anoint Jason Tatum like a top 5 player.
Yeah.
And, you know, if he had won the championship last year and if he had sort of earned his way to that moment, maybe there's an argument. But I think in reality, he's closer to 10 and probably slightly outside of that looking in. And that's not to, like, discredit him. There's just, like, a lot of really, really good players out there. And I wonder, like, in how many of these series are the Celtics going to have the best player? You know, in this series, no. Embiid's better. You know, in the next series, probably they will. I mean, it's definitely close with playoff Jimmy.
Can't believe you would say that about your boy Jimmy Will.
Dare you.
It's just disrespectful.
Dare you, Mr. Korver.
You could see you could see a world where Jimmy is better. You could see a world where Tatum outplays him. Against the Warriors last year, no. Against the Nuggets this year, against the Suns, like, he's not going to be the best player. And I think oftentimes you need that if you're going to win a championship. Now, the Celtics do have probably the deepest team of any of the teams left, just in terms of, like, talent 1 through 8 or 1 through 9, versatility. They can do a lot of things, but I think the way that they rely on threes this year, it's almost like the opposite end of the spectrum of where the Bulls are, where the Bulls cannot get nearly enough math on their side, and the Celtics rely so heavily on it that if the shot's not falling, they just don't really give themselves a chance.
Right. They chucked a bunch of threes last night and shot barely 30% on all those attempts.
And Tatum, too. I mean, 3 of 11. So.
And you mentioned Horford not scoring a damn thing. I believe he was 0 of 7 from 3 last night.
On the arc.
Yeah.
5 rebounds, 4 assists. Great. Awesome. Math.
But I don't think anyone's counting the Celtics out yet.
No,
even
not
after being down 3-2 and needing to go, you know, keep their season alive in Philly and then try and force a game 7, because we watched them do that against the Bucks last year in the conference semis. They were down 3-2 after losing a game 5 where it was tied 2-2. They got their shit together and won that series, went on to, you know, battle the Warriors in the finals. But there's just this weird sense, I think, growing among NBA fans who have been religiously watching these playoffs, like, the Celtics got away a couple of times in their deep playoff run last year with, you know, as Doc Rivers would call it, playing with their food.
Playing with their meat.
I'm about to say, I don't think he said food.
Playing with their meat. It seems like they're doing that too many times. I mean, between, like, Sixers were pretty much in control wire to wire last night. I'll give them that. But in the first 4 games between these two teams, the Celtics coughed up 2 that should have been wins. And it might end up biting them in the ass.
Yeah, it's kind of why I picked, you know, the Celtics to win. It was just like that Hawks series, you know. They were playing with their meat. They were playing with it. And, yeah, you like that, Kyle? I can tell you. But they were playing with, all show.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
All show, bro.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
But, yeah, they were playing around with it and allowed them to get back in it to the point that they could have won game 6. They really had a shot at doing that. And then, you know, the Celtics said, hey, we're better than you kind of thing. You can't really do that here with the Sixers. There is no, hey, we're better than you with the Sixers. They're like, well, we got the MVP. Like, what do you want to do? So, and again, James Harden also is doing James Harden shit. Okay, so he is really balling out, and shout out to him for that, because he's really making a difference for this team, man.
Yeah, I mean, he only took, I think, 8 shots last night, but he got 17 points, double-digit assists, and 8 boards. So even on his nights where he's not blowing up and scoring in the, you know, 38 to 40 something range, like we've seen him do twice now in this series.
Correct.
He's giving something else to the team.
He's doing his thing, man, and a lot of people question him, and rightfully so.
As I still do.
Him. Yeah, and
I won't believe James Harden getting to the conference finals and maybe even the finals until I see it with my own eyes.
I mean, you know, history backs you up. Like, you're right to feel this way until he does it, you know? So that's fine. It's the same thing I used to do with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Say, well, I ain't seen you do it, so do it. And Jimmy would just jump over the hurdle all the time until I was like, all right, you got it, bro. But, yeah, like, they've been playing very well. I think Doc has honestly been doing a good job coaching as well. I didn't expect him to. I don't think he's out coaching Boston. I think, it's just.
He might be, actually.
You think he is? Oh, excuse me. Break it down for me. Break it down.
I think the Missoula versus Udoka difference is one of the things hurting the Celtics right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Go ahead, Will.
I don't really feel like the Celtics have done much to try to give themselves a better chance. It's just can we play a better version of the same style that we're doing now?
Mm-hmm. And
not to say that the Sixers or other teams are out here making tremendous adjustments, but we've seen I'll take it to the Warriors-Lakers for an example. In that first half, last game, they ran 26 pick and rolls at Anthony Davis. They put him on the perimeter, and that opened up the paint to where there's nobody protecting the rim. Now, if the Lakers want to try to defend, they're in rotation, and that is a big adjustment. I haven't seen that kind of thing from the Celtics in the series. They didn't go to that. They didn't spam it as much in the second half of that game, which they lost, and now they're going to need to probably do that literally every single possession of game. What is it, 5 tonight?
Yeah.
But I don't know that when you're built in such a way where everything is centered around just getting up as many threes as you can. I don't know how much at this point in the year is it too late to sort of change your identity and make those sort of overarching sweeping adjustments that it seems like they might need to.
And that reliance on all of that 3-point shooting and the volume and wanting as much floor spacing as possible. I was listening to the Hoop Collective on my way in here today, and they were talking on that show about how Udoka used to play Horford and Robert Williams on the floor together a lot. Including their deep playoff run last season, and Missoula's kind of gone away from that in the name of floor spacing. But when they had both those guys out there, it was okay, Horford, you got whoever is the big on our opponents. And then they basically used Robert Williams as a gigantor floater on defense, and it was very effective. But if you got both those guys out there, you have less floor spacing. It doesn't seem like that shift in ideology has paid off for Missoula. It's actually kind of backfired a little bit. But, okay, last thing, then we'll move to the West. You mentioned Doc Rivers. I think I told this to you and our guy Saban and Bulldog because I saw it on Twitter last night after the win. Coming into Game 6, Doc Rivers with a chance to win that game and clinch his team a spot in the conference finals. In such games coming into that Game 6,
say it.
Doc Rivers is 0-7 in the last 7 games.
Yikes.
When he's had a chance to win and get in to the conference finals.
That's tough. So you got Harden and you got Doc. You got to overcome.
Yeah, and the 76ers have not been to the conference finals since, I think, 2001 when they went to the finals. So it's kind of this thing is hanging over the whole franchise, not just the coach, not just one of their best players. Embiid's obviously never been there because he's been with his Sixers his whole career.
Correct.
I mean, this is a big deal.
This is. And the opportunity they had, I'm immediately reminded of that series against the Hawks. Immediately reminded of that because that was the series for them. That was supposed to be the culmination and coming out party. And alas, it was the destruction of Ben Simmons after that. So, yeah, man, this is a big game.
Or even the Kawhi shot.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Rimming, yes.
And that Sixers
quintuple
team
doinker.
Had J.J. Redick and Jimmy and Tobias and Simmons and Embiid. That team was set up.
Yeah.
And obviously, you never know what's going to happen in the finals with injuries. They could have won. They could have won that year if that ball doesn't bounce in.
The greatness of Kawhi. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
It was a great game.
All right, moving to the Western Conference. Nuggets beat the Suns 118-102 last night. That final score was closer than it felt.
Got that right.
Jokic.
Oh, Lord.
My God. For as much love as Devin Booker has gotten in his Suns playoff performance thus far, and rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
As much love as Jimmy Butler has gotten, rightfully so, for getting the Heat where they are. People are already overlooking Jokic as maybe still the most dominant player in these playoffs.
Destruction.
29, 13, and 12. What was my pick of the week?
Talk your shit, man.
What was my pick of the week?
Talk your shit,
on
man.
our show yesterday.
Talk it.
Joker, triple-double,
Joker.
and the Nuggets win.
Bam.
Ba-doom, paid.
Slap. In
What
your
can I
cash
say
account.
except you're welcome. Shout out to The Rock.
He couldn't wait to do this
Or
show today.
if it's not in a wrestling ring, but on screen, should I call him Dwayne Johnson instead of The Rock?
That is an excellent question.
As the expert, I need to know.
I'm so glad you came to me on this.
Yeah.
In wrestling, it's always The Rock.
Obviously.
No matter what, it's always The Rock. Mm-hmm. When you're watching his movies, I feel, this is just my opinion, that it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Okay, so full name.
Yeah. I go
First
full
name, wrestling name,
Yeah.
last name.
Because usually something is blowing up in his movie.
Right.
So I think you have to add The Rock.
Even
in
just
there.
saying it out loud a minute ago, Dwayne didn't feel right.
Yeah, but Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
You can't leave the Rock part of it out.
Yeah, and Blow Up 6. You know, like you just want to go see
Skyscraper
that.
7.
You did? Skyscraper was a real movie. And I saw it.
Fast 15, the beginning of the end of the road begins. I like for real. That's the tagline for the next one. Something to that effect.
He's not far off.
Okay,
I will see it.
Back to this game. With that triple-double,
He will too.
Jokic passes Wilt Chamberlain for the most playoff triple-doubles of all NBA centers
It's impressive.
all
man.
time.
It's impressive.
Dude is unreal.
That's
He
impressive.
just picked
dog.
that, and I think the Suns got a little disheartened towards the latter stages of that game. He picked the defense apart, and the Suns just stopped trying after a while.
His touch around the rim is so soft and so amazing. And I want to give DeAndre Ayton a compliment because I think he has one of the best touches of a big man, but I refuse to compliment him from how way he's playing this series. I'll get into that later. But his touch around the rim is so soft. But this dude is supremely physical. You know what I mean? Like, he is a throwback kind of center with just new age center shit in him as well. Mm-hmm. He has no problem getting on the block and being physical, posting you up, hitting you with the up and under, all that stuff. But he will also step out, hit the three, make an incredible pass to you, bring the ball up, set up the offense. He'll do all those things. And he does it in such a way where he's like, yeah, whatever, great, all right, yeah, 53 and 12, yeah, all right. And that's why it's never talked about or discussed, because that's not the person he is.
It's so true, and I'm glad that, like, not only is he succeeding, but he's doing it against really good teams.
Right.
Because this whole narrative that has been thrown around about the two-time MVP not being deserving because he's never done it in the playoffs, like, just chill, man. Like, Jamal Murray's been injured. Michael Porter Jr.'s been injured.
Yeah.
He has a really good team around him now. And look what's happening. They're playing really well.
Yeah.
And I am just happy to see it because he is one of the most exciting, most fun players to watch in the league. And we're talking about Embiid. We're talking about Jokic here. Let's see that in the finals, man. That would be a clash of the Titans that we all need.
I would not hate that.
I won't hate it.
Obviously, I would be
hate
all
it.
Team Nuggets on that.
You all Team Nuggets?
Oh, yeah. I got to rep the ALLCITY family.
fair enough,
And to hell with Philly sports fans.
You just hate them
The
too?
worst people who never deserve happiness. Bruce Brown was also big. 25 big points off the bench for the Nuggets, including getting to the free throw line a bunch. Mike Malone, rather, praised him after the game. KD and Booker. It's always been about them.
Sure.
Once KD made his way to the desert mid-season.
Yeah.
26 from Durant, 10 of 24. Not efficient, not a super KD night.
Yep.
Devin Booker, 28 on 8 of 19, which for him is basically shooting 12% compared to his playoff performance
Seriously.
thus far.
It's like 12 points for him.
And when they have human nights instead of Super Saiyan nights, their help is usually not enough help.
Yeah.
And that was the case last night.
It's true. No, it's very true. Like, and we talked about this after the Nuggets went up 2-0. We said that it's not going to work unless KD and Booker are both having those 40-point performances. And we saw that in those two games after that. That's exactly what was happening. Now you're not seeing it, and you see the ass whooping that happened to them, man. But DeAndre Ayton.
Dude.
What in the hell is DeAndre Ayton doing,
It
man?
looked like there were a couple of timeouts when Booker and KD were taking turns like getting into him.
And he just got up and walked away. He went and sat somewhere else. Look at him on the floor. If plays, he's just taking off. That one play where I think Jokic missed and the rebound went down, he didn't even run down the floor. He stayed there. He just stayed on the other end on the floor, man. Like, he's not even hiding it. He's just like, nah, who cares? The fact this only comes up in the playoffs for him is weird because he did this same thing in the playoffs the last time. And it's very weird, man, because watching him play, I am always excited because I think he has one of the best touches of a big man I've ever seen. And I mean that. I've never
The
seen
talent is undeniable.
it's so soft, man. When he puts it up, I'm like, oh, that's going in. It's so soft and so pretty, his touch. But it's like, I don't know what is going on upstairs with him, man. I really don't.
I don't think anybody does. I think that's the problem. So let me ask you this. The Suns, let's project ahead a little bit, make some assumptions.
Let's do it.
We know that's not always the safest thing to do. But for the sake of a fun hypothetical, Suns lose. They want to move on from Ayton.
Oh, here we go.
Is that a guy that you would want on the Bulls?
You like that,
or
Joe?
are you just turned off by his mentality?
I want him.
Yeah. Didn't have to think twice.
I know Matt don't, because look at already.
So give me the yes and the no.
Oh my God! It's not like me and Matt do this all the time. Yeah, I wanted him, man. Like, this dude is. I've never seen a touch like that, and just watching him in a pick and roll, he's just absolutely vicious. Offensively, he is really that kind of guy. When he's focused in, he's like either one of the top 2 players on the floor. Like, the dude has special qualities in him. Like, he has a level of special to him. I don't know what's happening in Phoenix mentally with him. Does he not like Chris Paul, which I'm sure you don't mind? Does he not like KD? Does he not like Devin Booker? Excuse me. I can't blame it on KD, because KD ain't even been there, the whole time. Like, so I can't say, well, he just doesn't like him. He ain't been there long enough, you know what I'm saying, for you to feel any kind of way about him. Not that long to say I don't like you.
He's been there a while, and it doesn't even matter who his teammates are.
Man.
It's like
I'm talking about KD, though. I'm just talking about KD.
Oh, I thought you were talking that way about Ayton.
No. I'm saying KD has only been there half a season. He hasn't been there that long for him to be like, I don't like you.
No, okay, right. No, but I'm saying Ayton has been in Phoenix long enough now that it's not necessarily about which teammate he does or does not get along with.
I see where you're
If
at.
you're the one not getting along with everybody, then maybe you're the asshole.
See what you're saying. And that's a good point. But to that, that talent is undeniable. The man is truly skilled, and the fact that he's super young at the same time. And we could probably get him on the cheap. You know what I mean? If he's going to let it go, because
$35 million a year.
I'm just like, if we have to make a trade, I don't think you have to give up a ton, but we'll see what the Suns say, because it just seems like he's a headache at this point.
Absolutely.
For them. And who wants to keep a headache around? Look at what we got for Dennis Rodman.
But yeah,
like, it's the same kind of situation.
Bring him here.
But I know you don't give your side, Matt. Go ahead, bro.
I just did.
I hate him.
Ayton doesn't seem to be happy playing basketball ever,
or
be liked by his teammates all that much. Okay. I don't disagree with the fact that when he is locked in and trying out there, he's a pretty damn good basketball player.
He is.
The scales of good versus bad to me just tilt towards bad a little bit.
Is it more so the bad that you see in the postseason, more so than the regular season, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm willing to take that risk, because I'm trying to get to the postseason and make some runs. And knowing that this dude can be a part of that to at least get me there, okay, then the other stuff I'll deal with when it happens, kind of thing. That's how I feel.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. He strikes me as someone who DGAF about competing and winning.
Okay.
And I don't want that kind of dude on my team.
That's fair. I mean, this is from the Joe Kim Noah line of thinking. I'm not mad at where you think.
You know what? Just get Joe back in a jersey, please.
And it's fair, because you can't come into Chicago with that kind of mentality. You really can't.
Mm-mm.
So would you trade a Vooch sign and trade plus Caruso for him?
I don't think I'll give you Caruso with it, but yeah, Vooch sign. Yep, sure will.
Got to match the salary.
You have
somehow.
to give him something else.
So I got to give him Caruso too.
You got to add like 10, 14 million to match up the salaries and keep the Bulls under the tax.
Buckner's in the comments.
I can be talked into it.
Said I think Phoenix moves him. Doesn't seem to get along with teammates. The Suns could really use a deeper roster, and that's like Ayton as your starting center should not be something that makes your team not deep enough. Should be good. Dude is a former what? No, was he number one? He was number one, right? Yeah,
and one of the best drafts of all time.
Yeah,
in the Luka draft.
right. Yeah. All right, we have to take our first break. Then we'll come back and dive into some Coby White grades and some Coby White off-season outlook. While we're doing that, do us a quick, easy favor. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching along on YouTube, catching the YouTube replay. Make sure you're subscribed, of course, to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel as well, while we share words from our friends and sponsors. The first of which for today For our friends at Goose Island. I'm sitting here on set drinking one of their delicious new full pocket Pilsners. Lovely, delicious beer, and it's what the brewers themselves are drinking these days. Plus, you got the Goose IPA, great summertime drinking. Dave's drinking pocket pills, too. The Tropical Beer Hug. I was just joking with our pal Chris about how we watched Herb just destroy 3 straight beer hugs earlier this year.
Yeah.
In the Sox 108 Twitter tourney thing, and it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. Don't necessarily recommend chugging 3 back-to-back like Herb. He's superhuman because they are high in alcohol, but they are delicious, and you should try them.
He said Dave's about to.
Whichever one you want to try, whichever one's your favorite, get yourself some delicious Goose Island beers. Maybe check out one of their Chicago locations, the Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or their tap room right around the corner from us here in West Loop, Fulton Street. Goose Island Beer Company. It's Chicago's beer.
Chicago's beer, and I hope you like it. Jake, you want?
I'm good.
You good?
Thank you.
He says he's all right. I tell you, don't want one, and that's young Kyle Korver over here. Because when he woke up this morning, Kyle Korver said, "Look, to keep my form and to keep my shot tight, there's one thing I got to do to get right, and that's AG1. He will not start his shooting regimen without taking some AG1. You want to know how he's shooting 40% from the field? You want to know? Oh, you want to know how the hair is perfectly coiffed? You want to know? You want to know why the knee highs are here and the legs is always on point? It's because of the AG1, y'all. Those 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and oh, my sweet number 26, the adaptogens. All of this to help him start his day correctly. That special blend of ingredients supports that gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy recovery, focus, and aging. And just between me and you, your jump shot. It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than that cold brew habit that you might have. You're investing in that all-in-one nutritional insurance. It's vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, artificial anything. And it does all this while still tasting good. But, young Kyle, did you have yours today? I'm sure you had it, Kyle. Do you ever do 2 a day?
I don't do 2 a day.
You just always do 1
a day. One scoop a day. That's
one is all you need.
Okay, 1 scoop is all he needs, man. That's it. And then you shoot about 40, 50 shots?
Yeah.
That's about it?
50 to 100.
50 to 100. Okay, all right.
40 or 50 is not enough.
Yeah. 100.
Sun's out, guns out. That's how it goes.
Sun's out, free throw practice.
Yes. So to make it easy for you, Athletic Greens is going to give you that free 1-year supply of that immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 of them free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/ CHGO Bulls. It's athleticgreens.com/ CHGO Bulls. Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance because it's Athletic Greens. You scoop it, you dunk it, you shake it, you drink it. Then what you do?
You feel it, I believe.
That's what you do. You know what I like? I like that there was a pause right there, and Joey kind of looked up like, "Oh shit, was I supposed to say something?"
I think we all felt that way.
It's okay, Joe. Comments not until the next ad read.
I like that. I like how he was ready. He was like, "Oh, wait a minute." He was like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
All right, guys, let's talk some Coby White, shall we? Grades, starting on the offensive end. Similar to looking back and revisiting our Patrick Williams prove-its from our training camp days before the season started. Mm-hmm. I went back and looked to see what our prove-it goals were for Coby White, and I liked it because we kind of all each picked a different element for Coby. I picked something on the offensive end, Will picked something on the defensive end, and your prove-it for Coby was a little meatheady, which I loved.
That's what it's supposed to be.
So, starting on the offensive end,
and I was right.
Revisiting my goal for him, I said that I wanted Coby, who had done great work increasing his finishing percentage at the rim from his second season to third season, to keep that up and increase his percentage of total field goal attempts taken at the rim. That specific goal was he was at 18.3 last season, percentage of field goals taken at the rim. I wanted him to get that to 20 or higher.
Okay.
Modest goal, achievable goal, and he did it.
Did it.
He shot exactly on the nose, 20.0% of his field goals this season from 0 to 3 feet. He listened. He listened to me. Thank you, Coby.
He also shot a career high on 2-pointers this year, career high effective field goal and true shooting percentage. That was, I think, one of the things that I was most impressed with him was his ability to play off of his jump shot and not necessarily rely on being a hot or cold shooter on any given night.
Yeah. And he did, while increasing his attempts, also marginally increase his finishing at the rim. He had a huge jump of like 8 or 9% from 2 seasons ago to last season. His finishing at the rim went up again, 66.1% last season, 67.2. So he even raised it by a tick while increasing his attempts at the rim. I love that. I absolutely love that.
He was also my grade was BMFing Coby White. That's what he did. That's exactly what he did. He went out there and he was like, I am the dude, period, point blank. I am that guy. And he showed it. You just proved it by the numbers there, and we see it in the way that he played on the floor. He was much more composed. He was much more sure of himself, and he put on moves. It got to a point towards the end of the season. He had every game, he had a move that he would do, a different one that he would do to get to the bucket and score, to the point where he did a move I'd never seen anybody really do before and score off of it, where it looked like he was shooting, like pump faking, but he didn't really shoot. But he got the defender to jump, and then he went underneath and laid it in. I had really never seen that before. It was really impressive. So, no, Coby White was absolutely awesome this season for the Chicago Bulls, and I hope it continues.
The other thing is we know that Kobe's confident shooting mid-range shots.
Yeah.
And he spoke when he was younger, his first couple seasons under a different head coach, about how it was frustrating for him sometimes to be like, well, I like getting some open looks in the mid-range. We know he can do that, but even still, knowing what this Bulls team needed from him on the offensive end with the lack of Bueller, anyone? Make a three? Shoot a three? No? Okay.
No.
That Kobe needed to get better and get higher volume at the rim, which he's so good at, but also do the same behind the three-point line because they need that from him. His percentage of field goal attempts taken from three also increased from 54.8% last season to 57.9% this season.
Retain.
His percentage dipped a little bit. He only shot 37.2 from behind the three-point line this season compared to 38.5% last season. But I'm not going to nitpick for that. It's a little bit of a dip. Maybe he can turn himself into a legit 40% guy next season. We've always talked about the hot and cold streaks from Kobe shooting the ball. But bumping up the frequency or bumping up the percentage of his overall shots, shaving down the mid-range attempts, bumping up the three-point attempts, and keeping that percentage pretty consistent, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. And it just shows the growth of Coby White. That's really all it shows, just the competency of it. And also for the second straight season, averaging 1 turnover a game. It was 1.1 last year. It's 1.0 this year. That is absolutely awesome for a young guy like Coby White, increasing his efficient field goal percentage as well. He did that also. He increased his percentage from 2-point. That means he was getting to the bucket, hitting his mid-range shots as well. So he was doing all of those things, but at the same time, being a solid point guard, not going so fast to where he was leaving everybody, not turning it over at an alarming rate for all those times. And also playing defense, doing that very well. I wonder who was saying that for a very long time. It's this handsome gentleman right here in the cool socks hat.
Before we shift to that defense talk, people chiming in the comments, some of our regulars, Old Buckness saying his handles took a pretty big leap. Yes, they did.
No question.
And our guy Beat Daddy Fish saying his handles, yes, and also his lower body. He got his legs really strong, and he didn't get bumped around anymore.
That's true, too.
He absorbed contact better on the offensive end when he was fighting his way through the trees in the paint.
That was something I talked about. I wanted to see him do this year also, because I was like, he's probably the only other guy outside of DeMar who can get to the paint and actually draw fouls because of his physicality and just kind of how he goes up, you know. And I love the fact he grew his hair back, because I was like, it looks like you're getting hit harder when you're doing stuff like this, and your hair is flopping, looking amazing when you're doing it. So I liked all that stuff. Kobe got back to basics, but also increased his level of his game, which is just awesome to see. It's awesome.
So shifting to that Coby White defense talk, Will, you got a column up that you put up this morning, allchgo.com. Everybody go check it out, give it a read. A lot of it is about Kobe's offseason and contract stuff, and we'll get to that in a few more minutes. But you also mentioned in that column that Kobe had a pretty career year on the defensive end, statistically speaking. And then I went back and was looking at our prove-its, and I mentioned to you in our Slack thread, I was like, yo, man, I got so excited when I saw that Kobe nailed mine, and then I looked at yours, and I was like, oh, my God, he nailed Will's too. Because your prove-it for Kobe was to increase his steal percentage to 1.5% this season.
What did he get?
Kobe's steal percentage this season, 1.5% on the nose.
Wow.
Way to go, Kobe. Way to go. And that's a big increase because his steal percentage last year was 0.8. So he basically doubled his steal percentage from last season.
Talk your shit, Will.
Like you told him to, or suggested he should.
Talk
Will.
your shit, Kyle.
And like I said, I mean, Kobe has to give you a reason to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
He had to prove why Billy should play him over, whether it was Lonzo being able to come back or Io or Caruso or Patrick Beverley after they acquired him. Kobe needed to prove that there was a reason for him to be on the floor. And for me, the overarching thing there is awareness.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, funnels into a couple of different categories, but defense being a huge one of understanding where to be, jumping passing lanes, not being a guy that you can target because he's going to work and get over screens. And I think he did all that stuff much, much better this year. It was a jump that I think went a little undernoticed just because off-ball defense is kind of hard to see a lot of the time. But, I mean, just to get to the point where Billy's calling him a two-way player, where he's out there in key minutes of, that Heat game and the Raptors game, they need somebody out there. And he talked about it too. Like, he did not want to be that guy that teams felt like they could target, that they could pick on.
He did say that.
And I think, he still at times is the weak link out there. But even if you're the weak link, if you're able to raise your floor to that point, I think that speaks volumes to the overall progress that he made this year.
Okay, let me ask you, what part of his offensive game were you most impressed with as far as the development of it and getting better at that he was this year?
Offense or defense?
Offense,
I would say, again, it comes to this overarching question of, like, does he understand the game at a higher level? I talk about all the time, like, self-awareness and basketball IQ are two of the most important things to me. And I think he got to a point where he really reads the game at a higher level. Mm-hmm. And that allows him to get into the paint, playing off of his shot. And now, where's the defense? Can I make the right play? Is it for me? Is it for spraying it out and finding someone else? Defensively, is it, do I need to jump this passing lane? Do I need to get over the screen? Can I stay attached to this guy? Do I lock and trail? Do I go under? There's just so much that I think he proved just by awareness. And I think that, is true on both ends. But offensively, I think it unlocked another level for him where he wasn't just relying on being a hot shooter all times. He was able to use his shooting to now get into the paint and create offense for himself and others. I think that, just the game slowing down to him to a point where he could show off that improved self-awareness, I think took him to another level.
Awesome.
We got Bulls fans in the comments also praising Kobe's defense. B Daddy Fish saying he's 6'5" and he's playing like it now.
That's fact.
Colin saying Kobe's starting to give me AC Junior vibes on defense. Seriously.
AC who?
What?
AC Green?
Defense.
AC
I think he means Alex Caruso Jr. Joel in the comments saying Kobe was a lot better in pick and roll defense. Defensive awareness also was a pretty strong rebounder at times among the trees. That's true. Kobe, so many nights this season would be like, Kobe, not a great shooting night or this or that, whatever. Like, oh, but damn, he got 7 rebounds. There are so many of those nights. All right, so with our grades for Kobe, I feel like we all felt he did a strong job in his final year of his rookie deal. Joe, can we take another look at those grades and then move into our Meathead grades? Pretty similar. Will, you and I both gave him 8 minuses on offense. Dave,
Yeah.
The biggest Coby White cheerleader among us.
Yeah.
You were the strictest on your grades.
Well, for me, it wasn't strict. I thought it was supremely fair.
Okay.
Because everything we're saying about that, still the points per game was 3 points less than it was last
It's
year.
true.
It's the lowest point. He's never averaged under 10 points a game since he's been in the league.
Played fewer minutes this season, too,
Correct,
but even
correct.
his per 36 scoring was down.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So that's the only reason. And I'm like, and for me, and I was a little shocked with that you gave him an A because I was like, but you gave DeMar DeRozan a B. Like, how Coby get an A? But yeah, that's why though. That for me, that was my level. It was like, is it Zach and is it DeMar level of A scoring? And I was like, no, it's not to that point yet. But he did get better all around offensively, and that's why I felt he was a solid B. You're right. His minutes went down. I don't, hopefully his minutes will increase. Hopefully Billy won't take him out the game in the fourth quarter when he's cooking and he'll get a better chance, to do his thing. But no, I thought the B was well earned and it's a very solid grade.
Maybe, when it's someone you really love, you are a harder grader on them and you expect.
I don't even feel I was being hard. I felt like it was fair. Honestly, I really feel like it was a fair grade.
Some elements of Kobe's offensive statistics did dip a little bit this season, but I looked at certain very specific things that I wanted to see from him and saw that he did them, and I was like, A-.
Okay, I feel that. And that's why I couldn't give it because if I'm giving him an 8 and I'm saying you're DeMar and Zach.
Right.
And I don't feel he's that.
No, that's fair. I've been handing out my grades based on my expectations comparatively to performance.
That's where I was as well. I just feel like from where we all were at the start of this year of Coby being the odd man out, is he going to be the one that gets traded to try to bring in somebody else, to now being like a can't miss, Bulls have to re-sign him at all costs kind of player. I think he took, yes, the scoring was down, but I think every other element of his offensive game improved to the point where he became a complete offensive player. Mm-hmm. And I think that is really important. He also had the highest on-off offensive number of the entire team. So the Bulls were 6.8 points per 100 possessions better on offense with him on the court. That led the entire team. And some of the numbers for him playing alongside DeMar, Zach, and Vooch were really good. I felt like he overall improved more than any other player on the team, added more to his offensive game than any other player on the team. And for me, it was more about what are my expectations and how did he meet or surpass them. And for me, it was like clearly an A. There were some numbers that didn't like him as much, which is the only reason why I didn't go even higher. I thought B+, A- was kind of the range I was in.
Right on. All right. You know what? Let's take our second break now. We'll come back. We'll do our Meathead grades, and then we'll dive into some more of those thoughts from Will's column about Kobe's contract situation this offseason. Big Dave.
So, got another call.
Another call from Baby Spathis?
Yeah, Baby Joe hit me up again.
Man.
I was like, where you at, bro?
His telecommunication skills are just blowing up.
He told me not to brag about it, and I was like, I won't do it. I'll leave you be. But, he always calls me at 3, 4 in the morning because, that's how he rolls. You know what I'm saying? So I asked him where he was at. He told me, he was in Mexico. I was like, all right, that's what's up. You down there chilling. I don't know what he's doing, but I just heard people calling him Hefe for some reason. So shout out to him for that. He said, you large down there too, Will. He said, you large down
Appreciate
there.
it.
Oh, everybody loves the goat down in Mexico.
Everybody's digging the goat, man. So he was like, yeah, this is where I'm at, man. This is where I'm chilling. And he was like, but I need to get a message to you. And I was like, what's going on? What you want to say? You know what he did? You know what he said to me? He said, Elos nunca entendieron. They never understood. That's what he said in Spanish. The man speaks 2 languages. He's that kind of dope. Oh, he ain't get it. Why are these glasses so expensive? Why do I have to pay so much damn money just to look so damn cool? He didn't get it. And you know who else ain't get it? Shady Rays didn't get it. And so Shady Ray said, we're changing some of this up. The independent sunglasses company offers that world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair that you ever put on your wonderful face. Those durable frames, those premium polarized shades, and those clear optics for those outdoor, and as this wonderful gentleman proves all the time, these indoor adventures. And also, they got the Matte Peck lost and broken replaces plan, tossed, smack, glasses,
crack,
splat, crack, all of that. Gone is what the point is. They out of there. See that? Re-up. That's what that's called. How'd he do that? It's not magic. He sent it right back to Shady Rays. They sent him a brand new pair. No questions asked. But let's say you got a pair on because you saw Kyle Korver wearing them. You thought you could look as cool as him. Well, let me tell you, you're wrong. You weren't going to do that, and you ain't going to shoot like him either. But you can get your own pair, send that back within 30 days. You can get a pair yourself, and it won't be at no charge, y'all. They have no risk when you shop, and they always have your back. Exclusively for listeners out there, Shady Rays giving their best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com, use the promo code CHGO, and get yourself 50% off of 2+ pairs of premium polarized shades. Try for yourself. The shades that are rated 5 stars, y'all, by over 250,000 people. That's a lot of people, y'all. You know why? Because it's Shady Rays. Well, the Rays are oh so shady.
But Al.
Matthew.
Joseph.
David.
What's up, man?
William.
I only go by Kyle now.
Kyle. Well,
Yes.
Kyle.
Method acting.
Oh, that was fire.
I would like to take this time to tell you guys about the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, which is committed to helping families like ours and businesses like ours in the communities that they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
That's right, Joe. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, and industrial processes.
Mm-hmm.
Line.
Well, Matt, I was just thinking it was running through my mind about the industrial processes, the HVAC system, the commercial kitchen equipment. It's so much, Matt. It's got to be a lot. It's got to be confusing. How does it work?
It's actually not that confusing, John. I'd be happy to explain it to you.
Please
An authorized
explain it to me.
engineer works with you or Kyle, if you're interested,
He is.
to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually. Hello,
Both my goals and my needs.
And last approximately 2 hours.
Hello.
Within 3 to 4 weeks, you got a base. Customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation includes estimated energy savings, cost savings, that's dollars in your pocket,
Dollars in your pocket.
project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback plans. If you own a business, if you own a Kyle Korver fan club business,
Right.
any kind of business,
Right.
don't wait. Get started by saving money and energy today. For
Monergy.
energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Wait, what was that website domain? I think I missed it.
That was ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Schedule it.
Bizzy Biz.
Schedule a facility assessment today.
That's right.
Do that.
Love
Boom. Okay, real quick.
Slam
Meathead
it.
grades. I think I saw our friend Par in the comments mention that these were hard to decipher. Dave's is just the letter R. Return? Re-sign? Is that what it is?
No, that's good. I like it.
Those are my two best
Anybody?
R guesses.
Anybody? Spathis?
Rhinoceros. R guessing repeat?
R for respect.
Okay.
Give
all
him
right.
his respect.
Give that man his respect. Hand it to him. The type and amount of crap that has been tossed at young Coby White has been a lot. And it is not deserved. That man has absolutely done his thing. And you expecting awesomeness from him going forward. He has found himself. He has slowed down. He understands the game a little better. You saw it a little bit in the playoffs. You can depend on him in the fourth quarter. You can look for him to hit those threes to continue to make your team better. And he can run that point guard position for you. And he can play defense on whoever the ball handler is. He's doing all of this in lieu and in spite of the trash thrown at him. Shout out Coby White. Sir, respect is what you're getting from me. And the respect
like that.
is what he needs.
I like
Hand
that.
man his love.
Eco being in the comments said RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. I don't know if that was a Aretha reference or a Michael Scott referencing Aretha reference. Either way, it's gold.
Either way, I'm rolling with it.
All right, Will. Yours looks like a combination of leathers that look like the sound I would make falling off a ladder.
Last time you've been on a ladder. Last time you've been on a ladder, man.
Yeah.
How you shoot? Well, come on. Go. Am I on the right track there? Come on.
No, you're not.
Joey is silly.
He's yours.
I went simple yesterday with just more.
Yeah.
For Patrick Williams today.
You went serious on this one.
Have you seen his post All-Star numbers?
Oh, wow.
That is definitely a GOAT meathead grade right there,
they're
sir.
pretty good.
Break them down then, go.
Post All-Star, Coby, in 26 minutes game, 11.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 62% true shooting, 49 field goal, 41 3-point, 100% from the free throw line, 17 of 17. He was just so much better. He only shot 35% to start the year, and that was kind of what I was worried about.
Right.
Is just like the inconsistency shooting the ball. But he just got super hot at the end of the year. And one number that I want to point out, which I think is important for this next conversation, in lineups, we've all talked about the Vooch, Zach, DeMar lineups being negative or slightly positive, depending on which numbers you're looking at. If you add Coby to that mix and you have those four players, they were plus 6.6, which is really good, 87th percentile.
Right.
And offensively, 127.5 points per 100 possessions, 99th percentile in the entire NBA. With Caruso and Coby White, they were even better. I mean, I think this was one of those things where I was a little skeptical about putting him in a starting lineup, but you can't argue with those numbers. And he was a totally different player.
Okay. Thank you for that. It was very serious. I do want to take a chance to guess the Meathead grade badly, and I have a new way of doing this.
Okay.
I took the acronym.
Joey Method?
I put it into ChatGPT. I said this is about a basketball player. Give me 10 examples of what it could mean.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna read some of my favorites here.
Come on.
In ChatGPT.
Hard work yields success. Have your passion and stay nimble.
Wow.
Is that it?
I like that one.
Is that it?
I already said
No.
it.
Will already said it.
Oh, I missed it. I
Where
was
were you?
ChatGPT.
What you just at, bro?
I was ChatGPT.
Joe, like he just really went on a whole breakdown of what he just wrote.
Well, I was
Well, I want
trying
to hear
to.
him still. Keep him going.
Okay, you want to? Okay. Heighten your speed, handle your shots, always stay nimble. A lot of nimble here.
Nimbleness.
Yeah, another one, nimble.
nipple.
Hustle, your stand high, you'll perform and succeed now. Okay, you know what? I'm done.
This is what you miss Will talking for. This is what
I heard the important
Gen
part.
Z is spending their time with.
This is what you miss
Really?
Kyle speaking on right here.
No, I listened to Will's argument and it was beautifully crafted. I just
Well,
missed
you
the
clearly
actual
did not.
breakdown. All right.
You were on your chat GBT. So
Time for
shout out to
MENW.
ChatGPT.
Is the comma? Was this comma incorrectly placed?
It was correctly placed.
Okay.
And thank you for correctly reading my graphic request.
Power said Joey is drawing during class.
It's little bit. Mine is pretty
man.
simple, and it leads us into the last part of our show's conversation today.
Hit it.
Met expectations, comma, now what?
So we do punctuation for the comma, but not for the question mark.
Correct.
Love
I
it.
felt like that would have been too much of a giveaway.
Yeah. I love it.
To that end, contract, the big word surrounding Coby White's offseason and immediate future with, or maybe without, the Chicago Bulls. Will, in your column, you included a little table about some of the sort of like third guard, six-man guard guys in that criteria, that fit that criteria and their contracts, if you don't mind, Joseph, throwing that up there. Thank you very much. Talk us through this a little bit, Will, as far as how you gauged the market for Coby this offseason.
Yeah, so kind of what I was talking about in terms of, do you pay him like a starting point guard, or do you pay him to be more of a scoring, third guard? And I think I still feel more comfortable, and I think the Bulls should feel more comfortable giving him third guard money because he hasn't yet proven that he can be a full-time starting point guard. You know, at the exit interview, he even said, I'm not a traditional point guard. I'm kind of a hybrid. And so I think they should pay him as such. So I basically just like went through some of the players of similar positions and kind of looked at what their contracts were, adjusted for inflation in terms of what the salary cap is going to look like next year and how much you can expect he might make. Joey, if you throw it back up one more time, you can see that he is one of the younger players on this list, and I think you have to factor that in too. So guys like Kevin Porter Jr., who obviously was a starting point guard and had an interesting contract where he got almost $16 million annually, but each year is non-guaranteed, so they could cut him at any time. Then you have guys like DeAnthony Melton, who are more 3-and-D, point of attack defender types. Guy who I really like
that player a lot.
Was only making less than $9 million. So I think given his age, the role, the fact that he could potentially grow into a starting point guard role, you have to put him closer to the Kevin Porter Jr. number. But I think given the way that the Bulls salary cap looks, the limitations on, what they can really do to improve their point guard position, you do have to sort of adjust that and maybe give Coby that chance. So I think $14-15 million per season is going to be the range, and I'd feel comfortable with that. But if I'm the Bulls, you also have to be thinking about creating as much space as you can to still be able to use the non-taxpayer mid-level without going into the tax. So you do have to be careful there. But I think that's kind of the cap for me, is the high-end outcome of where I'd be comfortable.
And I believe the way that you put it in your column is, on the other end, it only takes one dumb asshole to way overbid Coby's value if they're desperate to make some kind of splash signing in the offseason. How do you see Coby's value, Dave? Like, does that teens range on maybe a 3-year deal make sense to you? As if, like, hypothetically, Coby gets an offer sheet like that, you comfortable with the Bulls matching it?
Yeah, I am. First of all, shout out to Malik Monk for being 25. I did not know he was that young. I thought he was much older than that.
And he is on a steal of a contract.
Yeah, serious. No doubt about it, man.
You know who's not? His campaign.
Oh, my God.
$6 million.
Good Lord.
$6 million too many.
Well, somebody's stealing. But yeah, yes, absolutely, that's what we do. You want to match that for Coby White. That sounds like a fair value for me about how he's looked. I feel like he's earned that more so this year than any other year that he has played with the Chicago Bulls, because for me it feels like he put things together a little bit better. So when you're starting to go on the up and up and you're at that age of 23 right there, and you're looking like, it's not like he's Laundry Chalamet, or you heard what I said. You heard
Laundry Chalamet.
Did y'all catch that?
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Y'all didn't catch what I was doing? All right.
It's like Timothy Chalamet, right? Or was it Laundry?
I heard Laundry Chalamet.
Laundry Chalamet.
So the laundry of Timothy Chalamet.
Come on, baby, roll with me.
Dude, probably got some nice laundry. I'm just guessing.
I'm calling him a bootleg Timothy Chalamet. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Catch me right there. Catch me right there.
I see you.
But and also he was ridiculous in that game yesterday. He was tripping. But yes, Coby White deserves this contract. Bottom line of it, yes, he deserves to get paid. The Bulls should definitely match the offers that will be coming in for him. My issue, or I shouldn't even say issue or concern, but I'm interested in what Billy Donovan thinks of Coby White. That's what I'm interested in. Because he showed me a little bit of it in this last game against the Heat, of what he thinks about Coby White.
And he wouldn't, people asked him.
And go ahead.
Sorry, just to add on to your point, like Darnell and maybe a couple other people asked him, like, is Coby on track to start? Is he starting caliber player? And Billy said, like, he's improving and he's getting better to that point, but he didn't commit to it.
Yeah.
No.
And that's the thing.
Straddled that fence perfectly.
And his actions show that, because your actions speak much louder than your words. So I'm very interested to see what Billy feels about Coby, because we know what Coby feels about Coby. Coby feels like I should be starting in this league.
As well he should.
Well he should. So and he's making himself into that kind of player where it's going to be hard to say, I got to keep you on the bench, which is great. That's what you want. You want that from a guy like Coby White. I'm just more interested in what Billy thinks about him, where he should be on this roster. Is it going to still be that point guard competition coming into next season? like it was,
Is Patrick Beverley going to be back?
Correct. It's so many questions surrounding everyone, but more so that position, which means all those questions are really surrounding kind of Coby White. So can he do something to solidify it in the offseason or what? But we're going to find out because the Bulls are going to match the offer. Like, I don't have any doubt in that. They're going to match whatever offer he's going to get. So he's going to be here. But will he be here in the capacity that he wants to be? Will Billy allow that to be? So that I'm very interested in that.
And to that end, Shine Northside in the comments, I think, makes a pretty strong point, which is that Kobe's problems in the past came when he over-dribbled. Once he's realized now that you either catch and shoot or you make a quick decision to drive or pass, he got better. Maybe that growth within that part of his game will make him a more suitable option to be this team starting point guard next season. Meanwhile, Parra said, only issue I have with Kobe starting is what does that bench become without Kobe as a big piece of your bench? I think that's a fair question on the other side.
That's what you do.
You can give this man buddy Dalen Terry all of the minutes. All the minutes. It's a lot to think about. I'm fascinated to see if, as you suggested, Will, the Bulls will basically play this Kobe situation out like the Lowry situation, which was you're a restricted free agent, go out, test the market, get yourself an offer, bring it back to us, and we'll very, very likely match it. That didn't happen with Lowry, and they ended up needing a sign and trade to move on from him. Yeah. But I think that is a very likely outcome here.
It's fair.
Yeah, and I know we're running late on time here, so I'll just say that Mark and I will be talking more about how the Bulls should plan to operate with this and what they should be doing just in general with free agency. But I think Kobe's obviously is a huge piece of that. So we'll talk about that for HQ on Friday.
Woot! Tune in for that one,
baby.
For sure.
You better know it.
I got a real flex for you.
You got a real one?
Well, I'm not going to say on the air, but I'll tell you.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, off-air flex?
Off-air flex.
Okay. All right.
Flex incoming.
From Kyle.
The people will find out about it soon enough.
Incoming flex.
From Kyle, give me the hot sauce, but not the bull shorts, Korver. We are out of time. Yeah. We're out of here until tomorrow. In the meantime, read Will's column on Kobe on our website, allchgo.com. Follow him on Twitter, Will the Goat Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb.
He grown.
Our pal producer, Joey Spathis. Thanks as always to him. He is at Joey Spathis. Big Dave is at BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Talk to you tomorrow afternoon. Until then, make some bets. We got 2 more Game 5s tonight. Knicks, Warriors, clinging to life. Make some money off of it. This has been the CHGO Bulls Pod by DraftKings Sportsbook. See Red be good.
Peace. Shout out, baby Joey.